What up, party people? I just got a facelift. I look younger than ever. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm right here, you guys. We're doing a new video today. It's we're gonna test out what weapons we have here that will be best suited for combatant against Bob here.
I was gonna say, are we really gonna just use like all four of these, or
you can go and grab more if you want.
Okay,
that will be up to you.
I was gonna say I might grab more.
All right, go ahead. So, which weapon are we demonstrating first, boys?
I don't know.
Trent, do you want to demonstrate your nunchucks first, then?
Yeah. Do it.
While he does that, I'll figure out what to bring next.
All right, tell us a brief summary about your nunchucks and how long it kind of took you to master them.
So, these, been practicing these for almost a year now. Croc actually picked them up for me. Thank you, Croc.
What? Oh, no problem.
And, you know, nunchucks are one of those things that as a kid, I thought they were the coolest thing ever, but I'm like, man, I am never going to be able to do that. Not on my life, chuckle fuck. But,
This is the intro for you guys. But now he is better at them. I'll insert a clip.
much better. And that's partially why Michelangelo is my favorite turtle.
I'll be inserting a clip of Trent practicing them from a little while ago.
Yeah, I wasn't swinging at anything with them then. I was just...
Alright, so we're going to talk about how useful this weapon is and kind of give some reasons behind its usefulness, and we're going to be demonstrating some of the hits on Bob for like how accurate it is.
Yes. The main thing I like to think about with nunchucks is it's more of an intimidation weapon than anything else. You know, if you see me doing this, you're not going to come at me. It's not a matter of if it's effective against a sword, because this ain't gonna do anything against a sword.
To be fair, it would help out if you had like a katana, not like this.
Yeah.
A katana would have...
I'm gonna try and block.
It would definitely be a good combo because this thing would definitely block and you could get some good hits on, throw it away, and do some other stuff with it. To be fair, nunchucks are normally not just like paired with like you swinging them around and hitting them. They're basically just led up with you doing mixed martial arts with them as well.
Yeah.
They're kind of more useful
I'm not
to
gonna say it's the most effective weapon ever.
No.
You see a lot of people that go around and tell you that they're absolutely terrible and they're useless. They're freaking wrong.
Yeah.
Let me show you why.
They are definitely useful to a good point because they, depending on where you're striking, they're made of wood or made of metal. They are very powerful. Top of the dome will always be a good hit no matter what.
That is a CTE speed run.
Oh yeah. Not to mention, besides from head hits, it's also good to aim for the chest with them too, because these things would still hurt the shit out of you. But that's kind of the summary on Trent's weapons for the nunchucks. They're very much a potent weapon. As you can tell with their range, they can definitely hit your bones right here and break them.
That will definitely bust a shoulder.
Yeah, these weapons are definitely good at using for close range combat. They do have a deceptive quality for distance, because you think you're far enough away,
Yeah,
but then...
because if you go for a strike like, I'm gonna over the shoulder this way.
It's like deception. You think you're safe at that distance, but you're not.
No, and this is pretty good distance. I'm standing like this.
Oh, it's all good. Full speed slam. Wow, wow. Wow.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Right to the top of the head.
Oh, yeah. All right. So for a good rating, what would you rate the nunchucks?
For me personally, this is gonna sound a little biased. I don't think they're good for every situation, but I would have to go at least a 6.5.
What would you say, Isaiah, to that logic?
I think that's a fair rating.
So you're rating the same, 6.5?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 7 because I definitely think it's a good rating.
And you know, I could see 7 in the right hands.
I'll say 7 because I think it's a better option for good close range combat. The other thing too, if you are using them, and like if you are in a gunfight, yes, you're gonna focus on shooting, but the second you get close enough to them, you can use those to grapple someone in the leg and bring them down, and use them at very close range on the ground as well.
Like that?
Yes. Not just that, if you hook someone's leg with those and pull them on, you're basically just using the nunchucks as a good like disabling weapon as well, because you're gonna get close, you're gonna hit the gun out of someone's
Right in the
hand.
head.
Yeah. All right.
Tickles.
Isaiah's weapons are up next. The
These are-
tiger hook sword. Sorry,
The
hook.
tiger head hook swords. So these were more so a defensive weapon. So an advantage of the hooks is like you can trap. So like, point your sword at me real quick if you would. You could easily trap it and then
Disarm.
But they're like it can be good for that. But normally these swords are super thin, so I'm a little wary of the practicality of these.
To
And-
be fair, this is also like a. Remind me what sword this is again, really quick.
That's just a long sword.
Okay, I got confused with a great sword for a
Is that
second.
heavy?
It's
No, not
Oh,
really.
this ain't too bad. The hilt's the heaviest part.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with weight, this would be like an interesting match against it. Sorry.
I can't lie, like I don't remember all the different names of them. Like I know the ones with like the spikes out of the sides are the Zweihandler, but that's about it. But yeah, these like they have, and even then like you can probably punch with these too, and it's just as effective.
Oh yeah.
The only drawback is these bottom parts here, because while you're swinging, you can easily impale yourself with these.
Oh yeah.
So-
Definitely.
Question. So this part right here,
Sure.
is this serrated usually?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could, in theory, use them like a pair of almost like a really nasty set of
Knuckle dusters. Yeah.
If you chopped off both ends and then used them, you could, because it's a very useful tool. Do you want to show us like the use of the hooks?
So yeah, one thing you can do. This is kind of more, how do I say this? Like performative. So I don't recommend this for real combat.
Might want to back up Trent if he's gonna spit them.
But shout out to all the wushu practitioners out there. The shit you guys do is amazing. But yeah, I haven't practiced with these very much. But you can also like hook in with them too.
That's where the term arts from martial arts comes from,
Yeah.
is performance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like they're-
these dig into your spine and they'll do some damage right here. You can see it just press against.
Oh,
like,
you
it's-
can too. Like, look at this. It is literally pressing into it when he pulls back on it.
Oh yeah.
because he's using his weight to pull it.
If
and
that were a
stab.
serrated
What
edge,
little
that would
weight?
take his head almost completely off.
Oh yeah. So these weapons on a scale of useful are very high. The only time it might not be, they've never actually been any. This is I'm quoting you.
Yeah.
They've never been actually used in combat
Well,
for wars.
I'll bring. So I'm. Shout out to Scenic Fights. I'm more so coming from them here, but pretty much, what they said is like there is no like. Usually, one way they find evidence of like whether weapons were used in combat or not is if they had sheaths for them, and there haven't been any found for these. I'm not gonna like discourage the idea that these probably were used. I'm sure they were. I have a feeling they were, but right now we don't have any concrete evidence of it. So right now it's kind of just a theory, a sword theory.
All right, my question now: what would you rate the weapons for
my
their?
I might give it like a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Right.
Like it would get like maybe a 8 if if it didn't have these at the bottom.
Not just that, if you hold like the sword, when you're trying to extend, you're probably going to stab yourself with those things in the back as well.
Right.
And it's not really like, it's not as flexible because like you're using one hand for power and it's not as helpful as it would be.
And could you guys step back?
Oh yeah.
And then like this technique as well, like it's got good like blunt force to it, but if you think about it, these are smaller blades, so all it's really gonna have is the effect of like a pretty sharp whip.
Right.
Which, it's not the worst thing ever, but I don't know. If you had to choose between that and a spear, you should absolutely choose the spear.
Oh yeah, the spear's
Alright.
just got so much more range to it. Although I will say that those two are a bit more versatile.
So what is your rating then for it, Trent?
Well, based on the fact of versatility, like I mentioned, I think they have some decent range. You know, you saw what he did with Bob here, this little
Plunging
little
up.
shite.
Shite.
His neck there. What he did with that, I have to give it probably an 8.
I'll give it an 8 too, just because I agree with you.
I can't go any higher than an 8 though, just based on the fact that there's no proven usability with them in actual combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Nothing's been proven yet, but I have a feeling it's out there.
Alright.
But yeah.
What up?
Alright, so the one I'm using is a longsword. This is Isaiah's as well. So,
And
really?
my favorite.
and his favorite. He loves this sword. So this sword has technically been used for battle for millions of years by, I want to say, by knights and European soldiers.
You can find it all. You can find it all over
Those are the
media
same
too.
things, yeah.
Okay, so basically, it's very versatile. It's a good two-handed weapon, or one-handed as well. For power, it gives good range to do slashes down the body here, and for the head, no matter what. Because again, two-handed weapon, good stance, slash. Because it's made for power. For striking, you could also do some good spears to the body.
Yeah, that goes in deep, man.
This thing is very much a good weapon for every single sense. It's good for blocking attacks because of the guard. It's got a good span to where it's like good for blocking every single attack. I'd say there's not really many downsides. It's pretty light. This is a training one. I think the other, if it was made of metal, it'd be a little bit more heavier. But for slashes in general, you do a good job at piercing, striking, everything else. There's not really a bad quality to this sword, really. If you want to do like some fancy stuff, you could strike with the back.
Yeah.
But that's if you're just.
I mean, that would almost be better at close range, though. If someone's in your face, you're gonna smack them with the hilt,
With
man.
that is that if you're trying to do something like that and you're blocking like this, you don't have really good range unless you're pairing.
And it's kind of your only bet too, because that was like 99% of the time used against armored opponents. So
Yes.
against armor, you almost always have to default to blunt force, which is why they use maces.
Yeah.
Blunt force is very important too, because again, this would hurt, but it wouldn't do a lot of damage to someone in armor because
No.
it would definitely block the hit. Unless they were wearing chainmail and you found a piercing strike through. Chainmail was okay, but it was not perfect. You could still pierce it.
Yeah, it's kind of just all right.
See, that's why I'm so effective. I'm pretty blunt.
Again, with Trent's weapon, if we had a comparison with his nunchucks, it would definitely be a good weapon to fight against the nunchucks. One for the guard, because I could easily just bring this down, or if I had it rotated in a different area, I could easily probably get away. And we both have good distance, because this thing is pretty long for comparison.
Yeah.
Because again, it's made for distance striking. So a second you might think you're safe, no. I give this sword, I'll give it a 9. It's good, but there are some other stuff that is probably a little bit better for weapon usage.
9 is fair.
It's not perfect. Every sword has a quality
No.
difference.
They're made for different reasons.
Yes, this one, if you had to use it probably for a lot of stuff, if you were carrying armor with this, it probably would weigh down you a little bit more.
Honestly, it'll like it's not light or nothing, but it definitely
Well,
won't
no, I
weigh you
mean-
down as much as like
no-
a mace per se.
No, I mean more or less for just like endurance, where you gotta
Yeah.
nitpick the little stuff here.
When you're doing endurance sword fighting, that is something to look at, I think, because if you're going to be going at it for a long time, a big part of sword fighting is being able to have the hand-eye coordination, being able to have the endurance to be able to block a lot of swings.
Yeah.
So, what is your guys' rating for this?
Well, all biased aside, I'll have to go with a 9 as well. Because again, it's got the flaw of not being super effective at close range or against armored opponents, but at the same time, it's kind of one of the only swords you can reverse jump with. You mind if I
go ahead.
see that real quick? Because like, you can like it's some fan. Like, I don't know entirely how to do it, but like you can easily trick people with this one, or if you're fighting against a group of people, it's a little easier to
Yeah, it's
get
got the
through all of
longer
them.
blade on it too.
Right, like just all the reach makes it more advantageous, but that's also one of its biggest downsides.
You can just put it over there, man.
All right, but
All right, so Trent, we've heard Isaiah's rating. What's your rating?
Based on what you guys said and what I do know about the weapon, I feel like it's not as good for an endurance fight, but it's effective enough to take down an opponent very quickly with the weight of the blade coming at you. It's a long sword. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword is
Yeah.
the turn of phrase, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And I would probably put it at maybe not a 9, probably an 8.5.
that's pretty fair.
Is this the one you wanted to use next turn? All right. Trent's got another weapon. A lot of these weapons are also Isaiah's. We're doing a lot of sword demonstrations because one, we like... Here, I'll take your nunchucks.
The nunchucks are the only ones that aren't mine.
Yeah, the nunchucks are his. I have my sword at home. Maybe for a part 2, I'll bring that one over and collect more of these. So, this is a rapier.
Yes.
You gotta tell us some stuff about it.
So,
Well, this is
my
also...
history is not exactly accurate. The most I'm going to be able to tell you is that my boy Raphael uses it in Soul Calibur, and he's amazing with it. But the main thing I think of when I think of this is Zorro and Three Musketeers. That's my main source of media knowledge.
What do
This
you...
guy with Croc, he's going to know a lot more.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it, if you know what I mean?
I think usually like richer people would carry those, and
Nobles.
yeah, nobles usually.
Not to mention they also use this kind of style for fencing.
Yeah,
Yep.
and believe that one might be a saber, because I think a rapier has like
Oh,
the
yeah,
long
yeah.
swords type of hilt. But,
Yeah, and plus it would
but when
be...
I bought it, it was labeled as rapier.
Right, this would definitely be more of like... It'd be more of a fencing blade because it's not flat like a sword like that, if you know what I mean.
But yeah, they mostly used it for fencing, for sport, or it's
Alright,
like
so
kind of for civilian use too.
let's see some demonstrations here. This sword is also mainly for piercing, too. Well, to be fair, if...
It's light enough to the point where you can go for a lot of quick headshots, too.
Yeah, this sword is definitely made for like some... I would definitely say just with the design alone on it, it's a piercer for sure. But it doesn't have a blade edge, so it's not a... it's not a really big slasher.
It's just 1% of its power.
And just in general, this is a training weapon, so it's more like a whip in case some situations.
Yes, it is very whip-like.
Yeah, it is.
So I definitely say for use and practicability, the guard is good because it helps deflect attacks, protects your hand from it. The only difference I might say, well, this is not too bad. The handle is actually pretty good. It gives you plenty of room from the guard, so you're not like restricted on hand motion.
No,
It's
you're
good
not.
for protecting your hand a little bit better.
There's a lot of
too.
room in here.
Yes, it might be a little bit different for like if a grip scenario, I want to say, but other than that, this sword is definitely a good.
I do like the
Weapon.
sword. It's very, very light.
Yeah.
That's also because this one's not made of metal. It's also true. Well, I don't think the other one's actually heavy either.
No.
It's not.
For someone like you, it would definitely be a useful scenario because you have the strength to kind of like thrust through it a little bit more. For someone like Isaiah and me, it would definitely be like a very quick, like fast stabber more than a slasher because we are not like again.
Well,
slasher.
I've done it. Yeah. I've mainly jabbed with it.
Yeah. Not to mention this thing is basically meant to just target areas for weak points and do those kinds of damage. It can pierce for effective capabilities. All right, what is your rating on it, Trent?
Based on the fact that it is very quick, and I'm not going to be partial to my nunchucks because I know that they're only useful to a certain extent, I would put this higher than that, but I feel like against a heavier weapon,
It's not useful to that point.
not at all.
No.
So I put my nunchucks at about a 6.5. I think I'll move this to about a 7.
All right. What do you say, Isaiah?
Maybe like 8.5 or something.
I go 7.5 because I feel like for me, I rate the nunchucks at a 7. I think they're a little bit better. I do agree that when it comes to striking against something that is heavier, this would not hold up. And
No.
it wouldn't be a good defense.
Not at all.
No, that's why again it's for like more richer people.
It's good. It's better for like keeping distance.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. It's very long range and it's very nimble.
Yes.
And yeah, especially with it being more lightweight, it's way easier to travel with it too. So
That's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5, and that's being generous.
Alright.
What about you?
I already said I gave it a 7.5 because I
Alright.
rated it a little bit higher than the nunchucks.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Isaiah, tell us about this weapon.
This is a Aztec weapon. It's called. I apologize if I butcher the name. The Macoahuitl. And so normally it's like this big, like stick of wood, but it's got really sharp obsidian on the sides. Never underestimate obsidian. That it could cut paper pretty good. And
So are these
same with
typically-
skin.
Are these typically made of stone or metal?
Not really. So, like, it's kind of made of stone, I guess. But yeah, it's got like sharp obsidian on the sides. Usually, that's what these shapes are supposed to be. And then like this whole middle part is just kind of like a.
It makes me
It's
think
almost
of
like a
Total
plane.
Khan.
It does,
That's
yeah.
what it. Yeah, that's what it's. This is what it's based off of. Yeah.
Oh.
Except Kobo Khan's is a little bit bigger, and his is kind of made of metal.
Yeah. They're normally they would be actually a little bit bigger, I would think, but
This one is more of used for training,
right.
so this will teach you a little bit better about close
Still
combat.
hurts like hell getting hit with this though.
All right, let's
Yeah,
see.
that looks like it's thick plastic,
So like
man.
it's better, like it's a better like slashing kind of weapon.
Oh, that's.
I heard that.
I heard that too. Hold on. Better angle. Better angle. Swing again. Swing again.
Watch out.
What a Trent?
You know
yeah.
what owes you money.
There you go. All right. The other thing I will say, it is a good slasher and stabber. So when you
I
do,
really hope you got that.
I-
Go ahead.
it is a good slasher and stabber. I will say that it's good for lacerating because it is sharp. I would
Yeah.
definitely say it is made of obsidian. Obsidian is strong for that time period for
It's
Aztecs.
insane. Even now, like it is insanely sharp. But
Compared to like metal, we really can't. We don't have like a comparison right now to compare to the metal or anything like that. So I would definitely say I think metal would have a little bit higher elasticity than obsidian, just for my preference.
yeah,
And metal is a less likely option to like. Not to say metal can't break, but I feel like obsidian would eventually break to a certain point.
well, the obsidian. What doesn't help is the obsidian is cut so thin too.
Oh yes, it makes it
Like,
weaker
they
on the
have to-
sides.
I think they like they literally had to carve it or like smash it to like break it into pieces. I haven't really studied a ton about Aztec history, so I apologize to anyone who knows that I have gotten it incorrect with. But
I mean, you're giving the information that you have. That's
But-
all anyone can really ask of you.
But I'd
Appreciate
also
it.
say this weapon is a good two-handed striker. It also might be good as like a bludgeoning weapon. How like for the weapon itself, if you hit with the backhand as well.
like if you get them in the nose really good, like
Even that
upward,
is decent range because that's a long handle, dude.
Well, not just that. If it was like longer than it was, like this is just a training one for probably for like everything else, or this is an actual sized one. I'm not sure. Again, like me and Isaiah, Trent, we don't know the exact like size width of a normal one of these. So
Oh, see, I don't trust them.
They're like a little bit longer.
it's
than
also
this.
not sharp. It's not good at piercing because it's not sharp on top. The only reason it would do more damage is because again, you are like a stronger one, and you're again, it's also because it's made of obsidian and that stuff. Even if it's not like pierce, I got that too.
That's why you don't reverse grip.
Yeah,
That was a epic failure.
that's also why you
good.
don't reverse grip with that. But that thing is
With
basically.
any weapon.
Yeah, that thing would definitely pierce because again, it's obsidian. It would hurt, but Okay, so what would you give it a rating, Isaiah? What's your rating for it?
I'll probably give it maybe a 7.
All right. You got
It's-
a reasoning for the 7?
It's really
Oh yeah.
So,
I also have a good one. It does not. You can't guard with it as well. I'll say.
right. That's a. I might
Wow,
actually, because of that, I might put it at like a 6.5.
Right.
There's no real. You mind if I see that real quick? There's no real guard here. So if you're like fighting against, like, let's say a katana, like it could a little bit more easily slide down. You'd have to get really lucky for it to get stuck between
Those,
the
yeah.
obsidian tiles.
And that's
then-
not really a much of getting stuck, because again, it's really like barely thin. A katana wouldn't get stuck that easily to it either.
No.
Katana just has so much more range over one, especially that size.
And the average katana user is just fast as hell too.
Yeah.
So good luck fighting them with this. And then
with that range, you can hit from anywhere too, sides, lower.
yeah, but back to like the pros here, like they like with how sharp it is on the sides with the obsidian and all, like it's great for sawing through the opponent, or
You're right.
like it could like if you like double hand it too, you could easily decapitate them too. So it's
Right.
like I don't know, it's got its cons. That's all I can really say on the matter.
All right, what's your rating for it, Trent? Can you hand me the gladiator sword, Isaiah?
I think I'll go an 8 because I do like the blunt instrument aspect of it.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Probably go an 8 just because I like the blunt instrument aspect of it.
I'll go for, this might be a little bit downgrade, but I'll go for a 5. I do think it's a useful weapon, but I also think it lacks a few details that would be good for an actual, like, weapon. Not to say it's not a good weapon, but it's, like, it lacks a few details, I would think,
It could use improvement.
for
is what
me,
you're
yeah.
saying.
Yes. Modern day, if you made one today, they probably would adjust it and make it more useful and practical. But that's, like, people who have studied how to make these weapons a little bit more than
Yeah.
us. All right.
The only studying I've done was watching Forged in Fire.
All right.
Oh, okay. So he's got the Gladius.
All right. And like Isaiah said, this is a Gladius. This is typically used for close range combat and a little bit long distance. It's a little longer. It's not as long as the long sword.
And that is the accurate length of it, by the way, too.
So this whole weapon was used in gladiatorial combats as well. It was good at close range for simply striking, stabbing, and just in general. The weapon was mainly one-handed, so you had a shield in one hand or another weapon or something, so you could block, slash, and counter. This weapon was mainly for countering.
The whole Roman military even used it too, like all the legionnaires as
So you're
well.
saying that's something that Achilles would have used?
Yeah,
I think Achilles would have used a Xiphos since he's
Yeah.
Greek.
yeah, he's not Roman.
They
This is what you're going to college for.
the Trojans eventually create. I mean, like this is all mythology. It's up for debate whether it's real or not, but they did. Like the last Trojans that weren't killed fled to Rome and pretty much started it, and they were like I know they were like the early ancestors of Romulus and Remus, but enough about me. Let's
Get back
Let's
to
see
this.
a demonstration.
All right, so the sword is definitely good at slashing and stabbing for good headshots, body, chest. Everything with this sword is pretty good. Difficulty, I say, if like you don't get a lot of power from one swing, the handle is made for one hand. So if you're trying to swing like this is where your hands can be if you ever try.
That looks so uncomfortable.
It is. It's not made for that. So this thing does have. It's mainly for countering, or again, if you're a soldier in the Roman army, you're gonna be trained how to fight with close combat with this. You're gonna be going like this, swinging, blocking with everything. Believe me, your shoulders are gonna be tired
Yeah.
from blocking with this thing constantly, because you're not gonna have much time.
Well, especially against
Not only
the
that,
Celts
but
or the
you have your
Dacians.
shield in your hand, in your other hand.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
For weight
It adds more
requirements,
weight.
this thing is pretty light, so the shield doesn't really it doesn't overwhelm you with the weight of having two things in your arms.
And yeah, especially when you go up against opponents like the Celts, you got to deal with those big ass shields, and the
Yes.
Dacians got those like big ass swords.
I would also say the guard, it does block somewhat, but this is not really a big enough guard to block like swords and everything, so you couldn't do like with the long sword. And yes, we're comparing it to that because this sword and that are kind of like, it's a close comparison. Not really a big one, but close enough.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely say you could also hit them with the back of the pommel, again, for close range.
Are you not entertained?
Gladiator reference, anybody? But that's kind of how it works. The sword, overall, useful, very good for battling. Again, close combat is the best option with this. If you're like up close like this, or if you're close like this, you can stab them, pierce them through. Again, armor, it's kind of hard. You might pierce somewhat through because this is a little bit more pointed than the other sword. It's mainly focused like this, if you see the tip. It's a little bit more thinner on top. So you might be piercing someone if they're not wearing armor in either way. But if they are, you might pierce a little bit and get through. But other than that, nice work. Handle's good. Even though this is plastic, not real like grip.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you have one, but one weapon I feel would be very effective, guys, especially against the Trojans, would be something like the Warrior Club.
You mean the
I
You mean the Romans?
I do have
Or really comparison to both of these.
Romans and Spartans. Honestly, it
They
could
use
be.
both weapons, true.
They use pretty similar weapons. Yeah. They
Sorry.
I have a club inside. I could probably grab it.
Yeah, if you want to get
But-
that in a little bit, you can. I don't care either way, man. It's your
Let's
stuff.
Yeah.
let's rate this really quick and then
Yeah. What do you rate it?
I rate this higher a little bit, not super high. I'll rate it at probably a 7.5 again. Kind of like a better comparison. Well, no. I'll change it. I'm going to 8 because I remember the rapier was at 7.5. I'll go higher than that because this does work for blocking. Again, guard alone is my only disappointment. And not being able to get enough power. I'm literally going to have to swing like this to get a lot more power. And that's going to be, no matter what, a murder on your arm and shoulders.
Yeah.
Especially for swinging down onto a person or striking. That's a big it's like you want something that's very useful. That's, again, longsword. There are a few difficulties.
Yeah.
Say it was
No, it's
primarily for countering, though.
Yeah, so this was all, is true. Countering and kind of like moving around a sword to get to somebody. So,
like for the time it was made, it's a pretty versatile weapon. But
yes.
it's
I also think this
but like
pommel might be for more of a royal kind of thing because it gives me that.
yeah. So I do have a real Gladius as well, as you guys might have seen in the Fruit Ninja video. But yeah, the real ones, they were never at least the ones I've seen were never
They
like
weren't
this.
Adorned like that.
They have like a little like
one
kind of
might be
metal
more-
strip in the middle, but it's just wood.
Yeah,
that one looks like it could be used as like a mace almost.
well, yeah,
yeah.
this one might be more for royal, for like burial, for royal burials or something like that, because that's why I imagined.
Yeah, I could see like an emperor having that on his
Alright.
side.
So, what do you guys rate this blade?
I might have to give it a 7.5 maybe. Because again, it's very versatile, but there's an okay amount of range, but it comes from like thinking about the opponents they fought and how much bigger their blades were. And historically they had a pretty hard time against said opponents. Battery's low.
Okay, so
Alright.
what up, party people? This is the end of the video because my camera died when we were still filming it, so sorry about that. But I hope you guys still enjoyed the rest of this video. We had some cool stuff to test out, and we'll shoot the rest of it later. I hope you all enjoyed a lot of my content as it's been going on, and we just reached 100 subscribers, so next week we'll be hopefully filming the bomb hot sauce and the hot ones video. That'll be fun to do. We all are gonna be having fun and doing this, and you guys will find out more by then. I hope you all are having a good day, and peace.